Hello and welcome back. I'm a bit busy this week, so I'm just going to do a short video, and I thought I would share a story which, looking back on it, was very indicative of my orientation. So this was probably, I don't know exactly, but I think it was about when I was 11, 12 years old, and I was at home, as I generally was, because I have always been and will always be a shut-in. I don't tend to leave my house/flat much. Someone knocked on the door, and it was for me, which was very strange because people don't normally knock on the door for an 11, 12-year-old person. It turns out it was my friend from school who just lived across the road, and they asked me if I wanted to go to a cafe. And I was a bit confused, let's say. I'm not the most socially apt of people, and at this point in my life, just trying to think in general, have I ever been to a cafe with a friend before? Probably at some point, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I was a bit confused because definitely at this point, no one had been like, "Hey, would you like to go to a cafe?" Like, who even does that? So yeah, this girl was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this cafe?" And I was a bit confused. I was like, "Why would I do that?" And then she said, "There'll be cake." And I was like, "Cake? Did you say cake?" And yes, I realise that that's very ace, to be persuaded to go somewhere by promise of cake. But alas, I was, and I went to this cafe to get some cake, because who doesn't love cake? With my mum's permission, of course. So yeah, me and this girl went to a cafe, and we ate cake. I was very quiet for the whole time because I'm generally quite a quiet person. It was very awkward, but I was there for the cake, yeah. And the owner of this cafe, because it was quite a small, local cafe, also did flowers, so it was kind of like a flower place plus cafe, and she came over to the table at one point, probably when she gave us the cake, which was good cake. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a while ago. And she basically said, "Oh, I can't wait to do the flowers for your wedding." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?" Because, yes, this was my friend, but I was here for the cake. And looking back on it now, I'm like, was this a date? Did she ask me on a date? Who knows? Did I go on a date with a girl? Maybe. Like I said, if I was on a date with anyone, I was on a date with a cake. And yeah, and that just made the whole situation even more awkward. And then, yeah, we left and I went back home having eaten my cake. It was never mentioned again after that, and it was just a very odd experience. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought the woman at the shop was just being one of those people who's like, "Marriage, isn't that great?" That's what people do, right? But in hindsight, maybe this girl, who I knew at the time, was asking me out on a date, and that was a date from her perspective. From my perspective, it was going to a cafe to eat cake, because that's much more important. But my brain at the time could not fathom dating someone. I mean, at that age, I don't know how anyone would, but maybe there are people who do, and there probably are, but they're not me. But yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of that story. I know it's probably going to be a very short episode, but like I said, pretty busy. But yeah, I guess if you have any stories like this where you went on maybe dates without realizing, then do let me know. Or stories in general which are maybe indicative of your orientation before coming out, before realizing you are that orientation. I know it wasn't necessarily pointing towards asexuality because you're not going to a cafe to have sex, but I guess at that point in my life I was kind of aromantic in the way that I presented and identified, and not wanting or fathoming being able to date a girl is kind of gay, if not arrow. So yeah, if there's any stories that you have like that, then feel free to share them down in the comments below. I'm sure everyone else would enjoy reading those. There's still a few days till my deadline for Aces Assemble, so if you do have something to submit, please submit it as soon as possible so I have time to do it. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. I post videos every Saturday, so if you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. That is all I had to say today. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you next time.